The air shimmers over a sun-baked airfield. A single engine coughs to life, then roars, a deep, guttural sound that vibrates through the very bones of the earth. The sleek, angular lines of a fighter plane carve through the heat haze, its dark crosses stark against the sky. This is the Messerschmitt Bf 109, the very embodiment of the Luftwaffe's early might. A machine forged in the crucible of clandestine rearmament that would dominate the skies and define an era of aerial warfare. For over a decade, from the nascent stages of its development to the dying embers of the Second World War, this aircraft, often simply known as the ME-109 by Allied air crews, was a symbol of both formidable engineering and devastating efficiency, claiming more victories than any other fighter in history. Its story is not just one of metal and engines, but of the men who dared to push its limits, of desperate dogfights, and of the relentless evolution of combat in the unforgiving realm above. The roots of the Bf 109 lie deep in the post-World War I era, a time when Germany was forbidden from possessing an air force by the Treaty of Versailles. Yet, beneath the veneer of civilian aviation, a new military aviation industry was quietly shaping. By the early 1930s, the Reich Air Ministry, or RLM, began outlining requirements for a new generation of aircraft, including a single-seat fighter to replace the biplanes then in service, like the Heinkel HE-51. Willy Messerschmitt, a brilliant but often controversial aircraft designer, championed a philosophy of lightweight construction, focusing on minimal weight and drag, combined with simple, inexpensive manufacturing. This approach, tested initially with the Bf 108 Typhoon sports aircraft, formed the bedrock of his fighter design. In March 1934, just weeks after the development contract was awarded, Messerschmitt's Project P-1034 commenced. Despite initial skepticism from some within the RLM, partly due to Messerschmitt's strained relationship with Erhard Milch, the head of German civil aviation, his design prevailed against rivals from Focke-Wulf, Arado, and Heinkel. The first prototype, the Bf 109 V1, remarkably took its maiden flight in May 1935, powered by an imported British Rolls-Royce Kestrel engine, as suitable German power plants were not yet available. This early model, with its all-metal monocoque construction, enclosed cockpit, and retractable landing gear, was revolutionary, embodying advanced structural design for its time. Subsequent prototypes, the V2 and V3, incorporated the Junkers Jumo 210 engine, with the V3 being the first to be armed with two MG-17 machine guns. The Bf 109's agility in flight tests, including successful aerobatic maneuvers, convinced the RLM of its potential. The ultimate proving ground for the nascent Luftwaffe and its new fighter came unexpectedly with the Spanish Civil War. Starting in 1936, this conflict became a live-fire laboratory for German aircraft, tactics, and pilots. The Bf 109, deployed with the Condor Legion,
quickly established its superiority against the aging biplanes and Soviet-supplied Polikarpov I-15 and I-16 fighters of the Republican forces. Pilots like Adolf Galland honed their skills, learning invaluable lessons that would shape future aerial combat doctrines. While early variants like the Bf-109B and C proved potent, experiences in Spain led to rapid improvements, particularly in armament and engine power. The initial wing design, thin and light, had not been optimized for heavy armament, necessitating a shift towards fuselage-mounted guns and later redesigned wings capable of housing cannons. As Germany geared up for World War II, the Bf-109, particularly the E-series or Emil, became the backbone of the Luftwaffe's fighter force. The E variant introduced the much more powerful 1100 PS horsepower Daimler-Benz DB601 engine, requiring redesigned cooling radiators under the wings. Its heavier armament, typically two 7.92 mm MG-17 machine guns in the cowling, and two 20 mm MG-FF cannons in the wings, provided formidable firepower. When the Blitzkrieg tore through Poland in September 1939 and then swept across France and the Low Countries in 1940, the Bf-109 spearheaded the aerial assault, virtually decimating opposing air forces and establishing undeniable air superiority. But the ultimate test arrived in the summer and autumn of 1940, the Battle of Britain. Here the Bf-109 met its legendary adversaries, the Supermarine Spitfire and the Hawker Hurricane. The skies over England became a stage for epic dogfights, where the strengths and weaknesses of each fighter were brutally exposed. The Bf-109E, with its direct fuel injection engine, allowed for aggressive negative-G maneuvers that carbureted engines like the Spitfire's Merlin could not replicate without temporarily cutting out. It also boasted superior climb and dive rates, allowing German pilots to dictate engagement terms, often utilizing boom and zoom tactics, striking from above and using speed to disengage. However, the Spitfire proved more maneuverable in a sustained turning fight, especially at high speeds, and later models excelled at higher altitudes. A critical limitation for the Bf-109 during the Battle of Britain was its comparatively short range. German pilots, operating from airfields in France, had limited time over British airspace, often having to break off engagements prematurely to conserve fuel for the return journey. This strategic disadvantage, combined with the resilience of the RAF and the sheer number of hurricanes which bore the brunt of the fighting, prevented the Luftwaffe from achieving air superiority. For pilots on both sides, the Battle of Britain was a harrowing experience. German aces like Adolf Galland often spoke of the immense pressure, the constant scrambles, and the mental and physical toll of daily combat against a determined enemy over hostile territory. Allied pilots, in turn, respected the Bf-109's performance, but learned to exploit its limitations.
Following the Battle of Britain, the Bf-109 continued to evolve. The F-Series, or Friedrich, introduced in late 1940 and common by early 1941, was considered by many to be the zenith of the design. Aerodynamic refinements, including a more streamlined cowling and rounded wingtips, improved performance significantly. While initial F models controversially reduced wing armament, focusing on a single powerful cannon firing through the propeller hub, its overall speed and maneuverability were notably enhanced. The Bf-109 truly cemented its legend on the vast, unforgiving expanses of the Eastern Front. Here, against Soviet air forces, the aircraft became the mount of the highest-scoring aces in history. Pilots like Erich Hartmann, with an astonishing 352 confirmed aerial victories, or Gerhard Bachholm, with 301, achieved unprecedented kill totals. Hartmann, known as Booby, or the Black Devil, mastered a unique boom and zoom and close-range attack philosophy, only firing when the enemy filled his entire windscreen, often at a mere 60 feet. This incredibly dangerous tactic ensured lethal strikes and maximized ammunition efficiency. His skill was such that Soviet pilots often actively avoided engagement when they recognized his distinctive black tulip emblem. Another legendary pilot, Hans-Joachim Marseille, the Star of Africa, displayed dazzling aerial virtuosity in the desert skies, claiming 158 victories, many against highly maneuverable British and Commonwealth fighters. These aces operated in a theater with different tactical demands, often enjoying free hunt missions that allowed them to choose their targets and engage on their own terms, contrasting sharply with the more structured intercept missions of the Western Front. As the war progressed, the Bf-109 continued its relentless adaptation. The G-series, or Gustav, introduced in mid-1942, was designed to incorporate a more powerful DB605 engine offering 1,475 PS, or 1,455 HP. This variant saw numerous sub-variants, equipped for various roles from high-altitude interception with pressurized cockpits to fighter bombing. However, the continuous addition of heavier engines, armament, and equipment began to strain the original lightweight airframe, often leading to a reduction in its famed agility and increased pilot workload. The distinctive bele, or bulges on the cowling to accommodate larger breaches for the MG-131 machine guns, became a common sight. By the defense of the Reich campaigns, the Bf-109, alongside the Focke-Wulf FW-190, was locked in a desperate struggle against ever-increasing formations of Allied bombers and their potent escort fighters, like the P-51 Mustang and later Spitfire Marks. The Bf-109K, or Kurfürst, was the final major production variant, appearing in late 1944. It aimed to standardize and rationalize the bewildering array of G-series modifications, boasting a powerful DB605D engine capable of up to 2,000 PS with water methanol injection, MW50. The K4 could achieve speeds of 710 kilometers per hour or 440 miles per hour at 7,500 meters, making it the fastest Bf-109. Yet, despite these improvements, it arrived too late in the war. Germany's industrial capacity was crippled by bombing, fuel was scarce, and the pilot training pipeline, once exhaustive, was now producing inexperienced flyers, ill-equipped to face the numerous and well-trained Allied airmen. The inherent strengths of the Bf-109, still a capable machine, were often negated by these overwhelming disadvantages.
The aftermath of World War II saw the Messerschmitt Bf-109's remarkable journey continue, albeit under different flags. Countries like Czechoslovakia produced their own variants, notably the Avia S-99 and S-199, often using leftover German airframes and engines.
Spain, a nation that had witnessed the Bf-109's combat debut, also continued licensed production. The Hispano Aviación HA-1112 Buchon, or Pigeon, was a Spanish-built Bf-109G, famously powered by the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, the very heart of its Battle of Britain adversary, the Spitfire, due to the unavailability of Daimler-Benz engines after the war. These unique Merlins-powered Messerschmitts saw service with the Spanish Air Force until 1965 and even became cinematic stars, convincingly portraying German Bf-109s in films like Battle of Britain. Their distinctive engine sound a poignant echo of a bygone conflict. The legacy of the Messerschmitt Bf-109 is multifaceted. It was a machine that showcased brilliant engineering, conceived by Willy Messerschmitt with a focus on lightweight construction and performance that was ahead of its contemporaries. Its continuous evolution through numerous variants and subvariants, over 100 in total, allowed it to remain a potent force throughout the entire war, a testament to its fundamental adaptability. More Bf-109s were built than any other fighter aircraft in history, with total production exceeding 34,000 units. It was the mount of the 3 highest-scoring fighter aces of all time, a testament to its capabilities in the hands of Experten. Yet, the Bf-109 also represents the paradox of technological brilliance serving a destructive regime. Its wings of the Luftwaffe carried not just pilots, but the ideological weight of Nazi Germany. It was a spearhead in conquest and a desperate shield in defense, reflecting the shifting fortunes of a nation at war. The Messerschmitt Bf-109 is more than just an aircraft. It is a historical artifact, a tangible link to the ferocious air battles of World War II, a machine that inspired both awe and terror in the skies. Its story urges us to consider how innovation, when harnessed for conflict, can profoundly alter the course of human events. If you found yourself captivated by the saga of this iconic fighter, we invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. What aspect of the Bf-109's journey most surprised you? Did you know of its post-war life? Your engagement helps us continue to explore these crucial chapters of history. Ultimately, the Messerschmitt Bf-109 stands as a stark reminder of humanity's capacity for both ingenuity and destruction. Born of ambition, tested by fire, and refined by desperate necessity, its angular silhouette remains etched in the collective memory, a potent symbol of an era when the fate of nations truly hung in the balance, decided by the men and machines that ruled the vast, empty sky.